Can you tell us who you are and where you are from?
Okay. So we are here on behalf of Grains of Peace, or Graines de Paix. It's an organization based in Geneva, and we work mainly in peace education. So we go to schools, we do workshops with schools, adults, and youth groups. And basically, we here both promote our organization, but instead of saying, here is what we do, we just do it with them, so they see what we do.
This is a practical workshop, so can you tell us, especially here, what are you talking to the students, and what are these students doing right now as an activity?
Yeah, we're trying to teach them that peace isn't a passive idea, and it doesn't have to be an idealism. It's the processes that you engage in every day and the reactions that you choose to have to different situations. It's how you listen to people, how you make them feel understood, and basically this workshop is more about interpersonal peace and than structural peace or than collective peace, and it's understanding people's motivations for violence, and it's sort of deconstructing that and teaching them how to better react to those situations without escalating any problems.
And I just heard about the structural violence versus the individual violence. Can you say a word about that?
Yeah. Structural violence is when a structure, either a social structure or an oppressive regime, has an effect on the collective people in it, whether that's living in a society where you feel like you need to hold down 3 jobs and you're always stressed and you're always miserable, whether that's living in Nazi Germany under Hitler, and basically it affects how people function, how they feel, and also how they react to other types of violence in general.
And for you, for instance, what would be the strongest structural violence, or concretely today in our society?
To me, concretely, in the society, in the Western society as it works, it would be competition. The idea that we need to be better than the other, the idea that the other one is the one that might take my job, that might take my food out of my plate. I'm caricaturing here, but it's... And so, yeah, and especially because structural violence is something that we internalize. For example, I'm living in a building, and the walls of separation are very, very thin. So I'm going to hear my neighbors, and they're going to hear me. So what are we going to do? We're going to fight, because we're like, oh, I can hear you when you do that, and you speak loud, and your TV is too loud, and blah, blah, blah. And everyone is going to be like that, so the horizontal violence is going to be high. But at no time, someone is going to say, let's go all together, see the manager of the building, ask him to make more thick walls so that we don't hear each other. So structural violence is tricky because we internalize it and we never think of asking, could we change it? We just think that it's like this and that we need to fight between us instead of thinking together we can change that.
When it's really the organization or the structure that's the problem in the first place, and we look for answers on a personal level, and they're not going to be there.
And one of the answers is communication,
Absolutely.
I guess, dialogue.
Yeah.
And the other one would be to restructure, so it's more political answer, which is more high level, right?
Yeah. And it's, I mean, as far as in communication, it's making people feel understood and really understanding what they mean to say in the first place, because words tend to distort our emotions and our meanings, and so learning how to check back with the person that you're talking to and decode what they're trying to say to you, so that communication's better and so that the people feel understood, because that in and of itself lowers the level of frustration and thus lowers the tendency to violence.
And what is the solution for teenagers like around us, young people? Do we need to teach more psychology, or what would be the one idea towards finding solutions to that?
I don't think that'd be a bad idea. I think definitely teaching young people how to communicate more effectively and how to express themselves in constructive ways is extremely important, because usually violence is always, it's an attempt at communication when the person that's inflicting the violence feels like there's no other way to communicate. And so it's teaching people different skills, like skill sets, to communicate effectively without having to resort to violence. We're not saying that violence isn't necessary in certain extreme situations, and we're not saying that it's, always absolutely inappropriate. But it's very important that people adapt their reactions to a situation and take the most nonviolent, logical way out possible.
And maybe one other way would be, in the way of what you said, to give them the tools to express their emotions. Because if I'm frustrated, maybe the only way of expressing my frustration would be to hit someone or to do something like that. But if I know how to express my emotions and to just calm down in another way, then I won't be violent. So that wouldn't...
I mean, it's like the story of someone is going to hurt you and has a gun pointed at you, and you manage to wrestle the gun away from them, and now you have three choices. You can point the gun at them so that they don't move and you can call the police. You can shoot them in the kneecap and then they certainly won't go after you, or you can kill them. And it's choosing the least violent answer to neutralize whatever situation you're in. So, yeah.
Well, thank you very much for your answers.
Thank you.